if you play something for long enough, there will always be an event or a point in time where it's just nostalgic. And for a lot of people, Summon Skull, Dark Magician, Blue Eyes, Red Eyes. For some other people, GOAT format, Jinzo, Black Cluster Soldier, Torrential Tribute. And for a lot of people such as myself, Ritual Beast, Burning Abyss, Shadow, Necros, Teller Knight. The cool thing about it is that sometimes you can always go back to the past and use some of the strategies used before to make things present really, really good. And in this deck profile, we're gonna take Burning Abyss, use elements from the past, and make it presently good. Because I'm always thinking in the future. Get it? That's much better. Now that I'm not goofed up on nostalgia, I can give you guys more nostalgia. Anyways, this particular Burning Abyss strategy is going to be based off the 2014 rendition. Now the reason why I say that is because Burning Abyss in this variant is probably at its most competitive right now. Being able to use trap cards to stymie the opponent's strategy, your Burning Abyss monsters will provide a constant stream of advantage, but the most important thing, Dante gets better with every mill. So if you guys want to see a live duel with Burning Abyss, go ahead and check out that annotation right there. It's a really, really fun live duel. And of course, I want to hear your thoughts about Burning Abyss. Which is the best variant? Are you team PK Fire, possibly Earth variant, or even the trap-based control? So we're gonna start off with the main deck. I'm gonna kind of breeze through the Burning Abyss monsters. We run 3 copies of Farfa. I'm lying when I say I'm gonna breeze through the Burning Abyss monsters because Farfa is actually someone to talk about. His ability to banish cards on either player's side of the field can be very beneficial. You can banish your opponent's monsters, and if they have Exceed material, then the material goes to the graveyard, meaning that they probably won't be able to use that Exceed monster's effect. You can also banish those linked monsters that want to be linked or co-linked, and that's a huge problem for them. You can even banish monsters that you don't want in your extra monster zone, and they'll come back to the main monster zone. Farfa is versatile, but all of the Burning Abyss monsters have their own spot. If you can't use their graveyard effect, you can always use their effect to special summon themselves to the side of the field by controlling no spell or trap cards, which in theory sounds really, really hard to do, but it isn't. Moving forward, we play 3 copies of Scar and bump this bad puppy up to 3 because searching dark level 3 fiend monsters is what all the rage is about in this deck. 1 copy of Seer and Graph. These are easily the 4 most important Burning Abyss. Really wish that Graph and Seer would add more than 1. That would make the strategy really OP. But until then, we're gonna have to be okay with what we have. Next is 1 copy of Libic Malbrink of the Burning Abyss. One thing I want to talk to you guys about with the Burning Abyss monsters is that their destruction effect is not a condition. It can be negated, and also if there's cards preventing it from being destroyed, it won't be destroyed. So keep that in mind for new Burning Abyss players. If you have cards like Fiendish Rhino Warrior, or if you summon your Burning Abyss monsters through the effect of Libic, your Burning Abyss monsters won't be destroyed for not having a Burning Abyss or having a non-Burning Abyss monster on your side of the field. Next is 1 copy of Barbar for that burn in time, Cowcat for that spell trap disruption, Alec for that monster disruption, and Rubric, who doesn't necessarily fit in, but Rubric is a different name that you can summon to your side of the field and actually gives you access to Virgil. I think that Virgil is really good this format, very solid budget option, but not necessarily necessary. So if you guys want, you could cut Rubric for any other Burning Abyss, possibly another Burning Abyss that you can play, or just put Rubric in because he's another name that can summon himself to the side of the field. That is it for the Burning Abyss monsters at 13. We bring it up to 18 actually with honorary Burning Abyss monsters and Tour Guide from the Underworld. Wishing it was at 3 because it does let the deck pop off. I'm telling you, if they bring Graph, Seer, and Tour Guide in any more numbers, we might just be playing Burning Abyss this format. Next is 3 copies of Fiendish Rhino Warrior. This card is amazing. It allows you to special summon Burning Abyss monsters to your side of the field, but acts as a Foolish Burial as well, getting some Burning Abyss cards to your graveyard for some really cool combos. Last, after the honorary Burning Abyss, we do run 2 copies of Absolute King Backjack. I found 3 to be a little bricky, 1 to not necessarily be enough to take advantage of all the trap cards you play, and 2 to be that solid sweet spot. Absolute King Backjack takes advantage of this deck playing all normal trap cards, and that's too strong. Moving forward, we're done with our monsters at 20. For our spells, we do run 3 and 2 copies of Rank Up Magic Astro Force. We take it to a throwback with this spell card. The cool thing about this card is that you can rank up your Dante into a Constellar Pleiades, and with your Pleiades, if you detach Dante as material, not only can you bounce a card, you can add a Burning Abyss card from your graveyard to your hand. It actually acts as another Beatrice monster with a different form of disruption. I love Rank Up Magic Astro Force. Another cool thing is that if it's sent from the deck to the graveyard and you don't necessarily need your draw, or you really need your Constellar Pleiades, you can actually add this card from your graveyard to your hand, so it fits with the Burning Abyss strategy, sending off those important spell or trap cards and recurring them later so well. We finished that up with 1 copy of Foolish Burial. This is essentially our reinforcement of the army, depending on what you send, and that's it for the spell cards. Moving on to the traps. Of course, we play 3 copies of Infinite Impermanence, but it's very understandable if you guys cannot afford them. I was actually playtesting a card called Get Out with great success until the live duel happened. It didn't work in the live duel as much. Regardless, Get Out does exactly what you want it to do. It provides an excellent source of disruption against decks that want to spell summon multiple monsters from the extra deck, and at very worst, they have to negate a card like Get Out because it can easily break their board. I think that Get Out is a card definitely worth looking at, but if you don't want to play Get Out, there are also some other cards that I play 2 of inside of this deck for traps that you can consider playing 3 of, and possibly another Rank Up Magic if you really want to see Constellar Pleiades. Next is 3 copies of Paleozoic Dinomyscus. I really wanted to run 3 copies of, or 2 copies of Karma Cut as well, but I realized that just because you can discard in this Burning Abyss deck doesn't mean that you always want to discard. Now, Karma Cut is still a really good card, especially against decks like Solomon Great, because it can ruin every Sunlight Wolf that they have, but Paleozoic Dinomyscus does not require you to discard for cost, and on top of that, it can banish any card on the field. I value the Dinomyscus more than the Karma Cut. The reason why the deck is so powerful is because of 3 copies of Fiend Grieving. This card allows you to send Fiend monsters from your deck to the graveyard, but can disrupt your opponent's graveyard, which is amazing. We also finish it up with 3 copies of Trap Trick. Every trap card that we run is a normal trap card and can be set with Absolute King Backjack, and most of them can be brought back to the side of the field in some capacity in the graveyard. Finishing it up, we play 3 copies of Lost Wind, 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill, and 2 copies of Titanosaur. So between our 3 copies of Paleozoic Dinomyscus, 3 copies of our Lost Wind, 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill, and 2 copies of Titanosaur, we play 10 cards. That's right, 10 cards that Dante can send from the deck to the graveyard and still be able to gain the effects. Combine that with our other 20 Burning Abyss monsters, or I apologize, our 16 Burning Abyss monsters, 3 Fiendish Rhino Warriors included, Dante is going to be able to send something that could potentially gain its effects, set itself to the back of the field, or provide you some sort of disruption. The biggest reason why I even wanted to play the Burning Abyss strategy was Titanosaur and Lost Wind, because man, let's say you do draw them, after disrupting your opponent, they allow you to set themselves to the side of the field when your opponent continues to play Yu-Gi-Oh! The coolest thing about this is that so many decks focus on having these many disruptions, and Burning Abyss can have 5 disruptions on the board, and their disruptions can bring themselves back to the side of the field. This is why I think that Burning Abyss is just so fun, crazy, and deadly in its trap variant in this format. That is it for the traps that we have for this deck. I'm going to kind of blaze through the extra deck, kind of like how I was supposed to blaze through this deck profile, but it's so cool to talk about Burning Abyss monsters. 1 copy of Borlow Dragon, 1 copy of Boral Sword Dragon, 1 copy of Nightmare Unicorn, 1 copy of Topologic Trace Bana. Now the cool thing about Trace Bana is if you are playing against a back row heavy deck, you can special summon a Burning Abyss monster to your Trace Bana, and then immediately it gets destroyed, meaning it'll go to the graveyard, but Trace Bana will still activate to be able to banish all spell or trap cards on the field. 1 copy of Ebon Angel, 1 copy of IP Masquerena. There are budget options for this card. It's not necessarily mandatory, but it's really good to have. 1 copy of Nightmare Phoenix and Cerberus, 1 copy of Dante Pilgrim, You can run 2 copies of your Constellar Pleiades since you do run 2 to 3 copies of your Rank Up Magic Astral Force. I took it out personally for Virgil, but again, play whatever you will. 1 copy of Beatrice, 1 copy of Breaksword, 2 copies of Dante, and 1 copy of Virgil. Now again, you can mix and match any of these cards, or just about a good portion of these cards. I would strongly recommend continuing on playing the Nightmare monsters. That is huge. Your world cards are also huge, and your topologic trace beta. But let's say, for example, you can't afford everything in here is pretty cheap. I can't even say it, but just some other options. Access Code Talker is amazing in this strategy, and so is Topologic Zeraboros. They both provide disruptions that the deck normally doesn't have access to. DDD Stone King Darius provides a way to out an opponent's monster without targeting, so yeah, that's pretty good. And then there's number 75, Bamboozling Gossip Shadow. Now that we are done with the deck profile, let me show you guys these cool combos. Okay guys, so I'm going to be showing you some Burning Abyss combos that will blow your mind. Now, this combo can be performed as a 1-card combo or a 2-card combo, but regardless if you want to do it the 1-card variant, you are going to need Tour Guide from the Underworld. I'm going to slap a Scar Malbreak of the Burning Abyss just to show you how it could be extended further after I'm done with the 1-card combo. The first thing you're going to do is normal summon Tour Guide from the Underworld to special summon Graph Malbreak of the Burning Abyss to your side of the field, and then you're going to use both of these monsters for an Exceed summon into your Dante. Use the effect of your Dante to send the Graph to your graveyard, and also send 3 cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. I'm going to make 3 amazing cards like Titanicider, Breakthrough Skill, and Lost Wind because you guys are amazing, so you guys deserve to see an amazing board. Trigger the effect of your Graph to special summon Seer to your side of the field, and now use both Dante and Seer for a link summon right into your IP Masquerena. Use the effect of Dante and Seer to special summon the Dante, Dante to add the Seer, and then you can pitch Seer from your hand to the graveyard to be able to Exceed summon into Beatrice the Eternal Lady. Now the cool thing about this is that in 1 card we were able to make a Beatrice the Eternal Lady that can detach to disrupt the opponent, but even more importantly, Dante will then trigger. We can send a monster like Farfar to banish, but Dante would then trigger to add the Seer, and then IP Masquerena can link into the Beatrice into a Nightmare Unicorn, which will use its effect to be able to disrupt the opponent again, sending the Seer to the graveyard to special summon Dante back to our side of the field. And that is what makes this deck so good, just its ability to be able to keep advantage. Now I'm going to rewind just a little bit and show you guys how the combo could be extended. Let's say, for example, instead of having the Seer in my hand, I have a Scarm. I can pitch the Scarm to my graveyard to make Beatrice instead, and then the effect of Scarm will trigger to add a Tour Guide from the Underworld from my deck to my hand during the end phase. Now Beatrice will be able to detach the Dante. I'll send a Farfa to the graveyard to banish an opponent's card, and then Dante can now activate to add a Scarm. Now the reason why this is just so vastly different is because I have so many options. If I have a card like Paleozoic Dinomischus, I can banish again by discarding the Scarm to the graveyard and get a free surge during the end phase. I can also use IP Masquerena to link off the Beatrice for a Nightmare Unicorn, which will discard either the Scarm or the Seer. In the case of Seer, we'll be able to special summon the Dante back to our side of the field for free disruption, and provided that we actually drew one of my favorite spell cards in the Yu-Gi-Oh card game, Rank Up Magic Astral Force, Dante becomes even more important. This is a combo deck that also is a control deck. It's the reason why Burning Abyss is too strong. Now, I didn't necessarily get to mention how I did have a Lost World, a Breakthrough Skill, and a Titanocitor in my graveyard. Those cards could be set to my side of the field, and Breakthrough Skill could prevent my opponent from, stopping me. Let's actually go ahead and start off with a new combo, though, with just Tour Guide. I'm going to show you guys how to make a Link 4 monster for free. You're going to start off by normal summoning Tour Guide from the Underworld to be able to special summon to your side of the field Graph. You can also special summon Fiendish Rhino Warrior to your side of the field if you wish. Use both the Tour Guide and the Graph for a link summon right into your Cherubini Ebon Angel of Burning Abyss. Use the effect of Graph to be able to send or special summon a monster to your side of the field. With this, I'm going to special summon Scarm to my side of the field. Now I'm going to use the effect of Cherubini Ebon Angel of Burning Abyss. I'm going to send the Seer to my graveyard to be able to special summon Graph to my side of the field. Now with this, you have multiple options. You could actually use both of these monsters for an Exceed summon into Dante to mill off the Skarm to be able to send 3 cards, and then in-phase search. But since we have the Cherubini, we obviously are more pressing needs. We can use the Cherubini, the Graph, the Skarm, and link summon into a monster like Boral Sword Dragon, or even make a monster that can solve our threats like Boral Low Dragon. Both of those monsters are really awesome. Well, that's all that we have for Burning Abyss today. It was really exciting to show you guys how powerful Burning Abyss can still be in 2020. Also, make sure to check out these other videos that we have. Burning Abyss is still alive, and it's really, really cool. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll catch you on the next video.